I will be inviting our student leaders, who I'm sure that the conversation we are going to have is going to meet everyone at any place that they are. All right, please jam your hands together as I welcome Timothy Ojoibukun. Also, please continue jamming your hands together as I welcome Boluwatife Omotayo. Also, we'll be having Victoria Oyeniran. Please jam your hands together as we welcome these people. So these people are student leaders. They are people who did not wait for permission before they led. They took initiatives on their own, and we are going to be learning a lot from them. And of course, we can relate to them and to their experiences because they started from somewhere, they overcame challenges, and right now, they are in the place that they are. So first, because we did not read your bio, please, technical, can you get me another mic? We did not read out your bio, but I would love you to introduce yourself and your leadership style. Like in the sphere you led and your leadership style, just briefly introduce, like, what are you leading in? And then your leadership style. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I have a little issue. But my name is Boluwatife Omotayo, and I'm currently the president of SPUAU. So, SP stands for Society of Petroleum Engineers, and basically it's for anybody that is interested in the oil and gas industry and energy industry. So I think, yes, that's basically it. We'll be going deeper as time goes on. Thank you very much.
Let's jam our hands together.
Hallelujah. Push.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oyiniro Victoria Olushewa, and I'm popularly and politically known as Victoria Asata. I am currently the General Secretary of Akintola Hall of Residence, and I see myself as someone passionate about female welfareism, and I see myself creating or establishing a non-governmental organization in the future where I will mentor orphans and young ladies who have actually gone through abuse. That's all about
Please,
me.
let's jam our hands together for
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Ojoibukun. I am currently a postgraduate student of architecture here in OAU. 2 years ago, I was the president of the IFE Architecture Students Association. Before that, I was the general secretary of the same association. Before that, I was general secretary of National Association of Akoko Students here in OAU. During my undergraduate days, I was many things. I was an ISECA. I'm just trying to give us context of my leadership experience. So, presently I'm working on a civic engagement hub where we focus on developing our individual understanding of ourselves and the world. So that's all about me presently.
So we can see that we have a lineup of very rich speakers. Please, technical, we need an additional mic. So we can see that we have a lineup of great people who are doing well in the different things that they set their hearts to do. So there is a common misconception that leadership is just a title on the CV. Some people, their motive for being leaders is so that something just appears on their CV. But surely there is an unseen work that cannot be written on the CV. Can you tell us what leadership entails, what that unseen work is in your different experiences? Thank you.
Okay, so basically, yes, I would say that there are people that do these things for the titles. I mean, everybody wants to have something on their CV. Like, I would tell people that you should not come to school and go back the same way you came. In your departments, in your faculty, try as much as possible to join a society, join something, do something in somewhere. So basically, I'm the president of SPE, so I'll be speaking in that contest. So before I became president of SP, I've done a lot in SP. In my part one, I came to school, definitely part one, and I didn't want to join SP. And before I knew it, I just paid because, it's just 500 naira. It was not like expensive, so I just paid. And in part two, I saw something in SP, and I was like, because I was in part one, like I was just moving. I was not making, I was just going to classes, coming back, nothing there. So in part two, I was like, let me join. And I joined as a member in part two. Then when election period came, I became a sergeant, general secretary. Then from there, I went to the next, like from my 200 to 500, I've held a position in SP. So I would say that in all of my positions, none has been as tasking as being the president. So now you would not say that you want to come to be the president because of title, because there are a lot of things attached to being a president. I would say that the amount of sacrifice I've done as a president cannot be compared to when I was the assistant general secretary. Yes, I was working, but it was not so just a office, just like something. It's like, let's say in church now, we have other executives. Then we also have the president. There are a lot of pressure on the president. So for me, I would say that the title is that is just, yes, it helps later, but there are a lot of things that goes on at the back end. There are a lot of things for me. Funding, when I became the president, I did like this to get funds. It was tough to get funds. Aside that, you have to like work with people. You have to put yourself in their shoes, because everybody is a student and you don't want your own to affect somebody else academics. You have to like sacrifice a whole lot. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So, to the question, I would like to say that find your why first, because during the days when leadership feels overwhelming, it is your why that will keep you moving. So let me talk about my journey. So when I was in 100 level, I contested for assistant class rep in law department that year. That was 2023 or 2024, I can't remember. But I lost the election, and probably at the second semester came again, I wanted to contest, and I talked to my mentor. I want to contest for a position. She said, have you prayed about it? I said, no, I've not prayed about it. Then she asked me to pray about it. And when I prayed about it, and then I just perceived that was not the right moment. So there are times when, before you take up a post, I will advise that you pray about it first. Does God want you to take up that post at that particular moment? So when I prayed about it, I perceived that that was not the best time to go for that post. I was not ready, I was not prepared. So in my 200 level, and then I prayed again, and then God gave me the go ahead. I knew I was prepared and everything. But the thing is, the thing that is most visible about leadership position is the visibility. Like, people don't see the responsibility behind it. That's why you have to find your why. Why am I going for this position? Why am I aspiring for this position? Is it because I care about the people, or is it because I want the title? Because there are days when you be alone, like you are going through a lot, and then you still have your roles to perform as a leader. And then that's when you be questioned about your decision on why you actually took up that post. Is it because you just want to be there, you just want to be hailed as a leader, or is it because you truly care about people? So during those times when everything becomes overwhelming, and then you remember that you actually took up that post because you actually loved people, you actually want to make an impact in that role, then it keeps you going. So that's the unseen part of leadership. Because on your CV, I will not put it on my CV during those times when I was going through something, during those nights when I was actually down, during those times when I was sick and I had to just show up. On my CV, I'll just put, I am at so yeah, I was General Secretary of Akintola OAU residence. So that's the unseen part for me.
To answer this question, I would like to first give a perspective, my thought about leadership, what I think leadership is. There is a Latin maxim that says, "Duco, non duco." It just means I'm not led, I lead. You see, um, in secondary school, there's this joke we used to tell ourselves then that a head never stays unused. You either use it yourself or somebody else is using it. It means that the way I see leadership, it is, you see, I see even the position that we hold really as the most, well, I say, I don't want to downplay what we do because we do, I mean, serious stuff that impacts people. But that's just the secondary level of leadership. When we are thinking about leadership, I would like us to think about it with ourselves first. You see, you lead yourself first before you lead anything. And I think that is what any leadership position actually teaches you. Or even, I mean, you are given a framework whereby you are given responsibilities and you are given an avenue to test yourself and prove yourself that, okay, I'm able to lead myself, and not just myself, I'm able to lead others. I've had the opportunity to work in corporate environments, and even before I told anybody that I was president of IFASA or something, they knew that, oh, this guy has done something for himself. That is to tell you that the way you do something is the way you do every other thing. You cannot come to church and act a certain way. I mean, just observe yourself and even other people around you. You see that the way they act in church is the way they act in school, is the way they act is exactly the same way that you act in your family at home. It's exactly the same way that you act in will I say in your workplace. I said all these things to say that we should not look at leadership position or for the CV. What CV safe? I mean, what CV? Who is going to? Have you seen any job posting where they say you have to be president of something? Nobody cares, really. Nobody cares. I mean, part of we architecture. When I was president of the architecture department here, there is the National Association of Architecture Students, which made me have connections with many presidents all around the country, not just in Nigeria. There are presidents where since the day they left office, nobody mentioned their name that they were president or something. No, it has just gone like that. Nobody cares. If people only care about the impact that you make, as I am now, I left the presidency of IFASA 22 years ago now, and there are many things that happen in the department that people call me first, even before they call the current president, because they remember what I've done. Nobody cares about the title. It's actually very ridiculous to me sometimes when people are looking for titles. Nobody cares really. So it's low quality thinking really. There's no better way to put it. To be chasing all these student titles is rubbish.
Sorry, please. In addition to what I said earlier, another part is taking the blame. You know, when something goes wrong, the first person that takes the blame is the leader. And I felt like that's an unseen part of leadership also.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I'll be directing some questions to us personally. First, I'll be starting with Timothy. Am I audible? First, I'll be starting with Timothy. So, in every organization, excellence is a no-brainer. Like, it's the barest minimum. But those conglomerate of excellent people, how do you make all hands on deck a reality in your organization and not just a slogan? How do you drive people to do their best?
All right. Okay, to answer that question, let me first think about, state my approach to leadership. I do not see leadership as somebody up and leading other people below them. I see that's a vertical approach to leadership where there is somebody up and is just giving orders for other people down to take. I see my own approach to leadership is an horizontal approach where everybody in the organization, everybody in the association, everybody in whatever we are trying to do are standing shoulder to shoulder, on a horizontal plane. and they are holding each other's hands to do what we are proposing to do. However, I mean, regardless of the way I maybe might try to downplay, will I say, the imports of leadership positions, we cannot just take it away. I mean, there is a place for just those titles in our society. That is where we have resulted to organize ourselves. But I personally treat it as an ephemeral, and I think it is the right perspective for all of us to do. I mean, it is just, let's just get what we want to do. So, to answer the question, I think, first of all, as a leader, we can't take away the place of vision. You see, the primary goal, I mean, the responsibility of a leader is to see somewhere that he sees the people can be, or a potential he sees the people, that the people themselves might not even be able to see it. So it is now your responsibility to communicate this potential that you see. Okay, this is where I think we can be at the end of this our administration. In the next 1 year, this is what I think we can do. And now communicate it to them and make it their own vision as much as it is yours. Don't make it like they are trying to achieve your own aim. Make it their own vision. A case study of mine now. When I was president of Ife Architecture Students Association, I saw an association where everybody in the association had, will I say, as much stake, even as the president. And I shared this vision with everybody that we can do so much, even for ourselves, and even impact our, not just OAU, but Ife generally. And we did that. We did that by creating a lot of other, will I say, committees and subsets of the organization where every other person is a leader in them. Everybody took responsibility. So I've said all these things to say that leadership starts first with the vision, communicating that vision with your followers. I don't say followers, but we are together. Communicating that vision with the people you are leading and making them have a hold of that vision. You know, there's a way you understand something so much that it becomes your own. And I think that is should be the aim of every leader. And when everybody is on that level playing field, they will willingly contribute everything they can to achieve that common purpose.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a loaded response. We've seen the right approach to leadership, that instead of operating vertically and people trying to achieve your mission, let everybody be shoulders to shoulders, sell your vision, they understand it, they own the vision, and there's a no-brainer that all hands will surely be on deck. So this question is to you, Victoria. How do you maintain high standard within your team when everyone is juggling academic and personal pressures? I know that in your leadership, you attend to a lot of issues and there's a lot of pressure. So how do you achieve that?
Okay, for me, I will say time management, knowing how to manage your time and knowing how to be productive about things at hand. Because the truth is, you can't do everything at once, and there are times when one will suffer for the other, and you just have to come to this realization that you just have to distinguish between what matters at the moment and what requires to be pended for the time being. So if I have a team where we are all juggling academic pressure, personal pressure, and leadership pressure at that particular moment, I will call my teams together, and then if we identify the most needing pressure that needs to be attended to at that particular moment. If it is academic pressure, probably we have an exam coming up next week. You don't expect us to go for an event tomorrow when we know that we have an exam on Monday to prepare for. So it's just about knowing how to manage your time, how to be productive, because as a leader, you must be an all-rounder excellence person. You cannot be a good leader, and then when they're asking you, what's your CGPA? And then you're saying you cannot even talk properly. No. That's not a leader. Like, that's not a leader that is mirroring a good example or being a role model for his or her follower. So it's just about time management, and knowing how to be productive, and then distinguishing between what requires the most attention at the particular moment.
Thank you so much. Please let's clap for her. So what she's trying to say is that balance sometimes can be a myth, and that we should always prioritize. That way, we can juggle a lot of things that we do. All right, this question is for you, Bolu. You know, not everyone can be a leader, I mean executive positions, but we have different members in our different organizations. So how can everybody in an organization maximize their experience? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I still got this question from somebody in my department yesterday. The guy is currently the vice president of my department, but he came to me to ask how can he, be more seen in SPE. So yes, not everybody can be can have the title. I mean, we can be leaders in our own various fields. So now I would say first, volunteer first. Like if they're having like a meeting and events in your society, it makes sense that you volunteer. I would not know you if I don't see you. There's some people in part two, currently in part two in my departments and in SP generally. And I'm seeing the future of SP in them because they always show up. If you don't show up, I will not know you. If you come to meet me now, let's say you've been in SP since part one. If you come to meet me and say, my name is this, I'm like, okay, I don't know you. And if opportunities come, I cannot say, oh, I know this guy because I really do not know you. So I think the best thing for anybody that wants to at least start, maybe you don't want to be a leader, but you want to be seen, volunteer, show up, everything they are doing. I know that, okay, we are students and you may have other things that you are doing. I mean, I'm not the best in my class, but I'm not bad. Like I'm not down. I'm not small. So like you have to know how to balance these things. Always show up. You cannot be in a society and just be a ghost member. You have to show up. You just have to show up. Basically, just show up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have few minutes left till the end of this session. Now you've talked about like the difficulties, like the difficult situations that leadership sometimes put you in. Can you shed more light on that? Like a tough decision that you had to take. It was an unpopular decision, but you just had to make it. Just a minute each, so that they really understand the glimpse of leadership.
There are a lot of tough decisions I'm trying to think of. I mean, there are a lot of times that I'll have to like, okay, so now let's say we have an event for, because like I said, I'm president of SP, but aside SP OAU, we have other SP chapters under SP Lagos. So now, in SP Lagos, we are mandatory, like you must do something in each chapter. So now, I know that we are students, and in SP, we have events almost every Saturdays. That event almost every Saturdays. And me personally, I don't like choking people up with programs. So there was a particular, and from above, they expect that you do this particular thing. Like they don't, yes, they understand, but then other chapters are doing it. So they expect that, okay, you too has to do something. So of recent, I had to like take it upon myself that I would look for speakers for that particular event, because I know that, I mean, everybody is busy. Other executives they have other things that they are doing in their own capacity, and I don't want to like burden other people, because as a leader first, you have to lead. People have to see that you are doing something so that they can also emulate. So like that's one of the things I've done so far. And also I think, stepping in every society, you see some executives that are not as serious as some. It's just the reality. Some people would frustrate your life. I'm being honest now. Some people will make life unbearable for you. So like a lot of times I have to step in, do it myself, and just make sure that things go, because in SP again. You have to think on time. Like there's no time to think for 1 week. You have to think fast and make people and like make everybody okay and stuff like that. Thank you. Okay, yes.
All right, so for me, an unpopular decision I made ever since I became a leader was when I was a member, whenever I want to sleep, I switch off my phone immediately because I don't like call disturbance in the middle of the night or something. But when I became a leader, I realized, when I was a member, someone was telling me that it is not good to be switching off phone in the midnight. That what if there is emergency? I was like, there cannot be emergency. So when I became a leader, there was one night I actually forgot to switch off my phone, and my phone, I did not even put it on silence mode, and that was how an unknown number kept calling me, and then I was wondering in the middle of the night, that was past 12. I just had to pick up the call. That was when I realized that one of our occupants was actually sick and she was the only one around. Like it was a very, very bad attack. So that night, we just had to rush out to the health center, and then I realized that what if I had not picked up that call? And then if something bad should happen to her, they are actually going to come put the blame on the ESCOs or something. So that situation actually made me make a decision not to put up my phone anytime. But there was even a day someone was even calling me for in the middle of the night, and it was an uncle man that, please, is the tap on? I was like, what's this? But as a leader, you just have to make some decision for the ease of your followers.
Thinking about it, I cannot particularly point out any decision I can term unpopular that I made while in office, because you see, decision making itself is something that we need to learn, not just as a somebody that's in position. I believe all of us are leaders, so I don't like referring to myself as a leader. I don't like that leader member distinction. I believe it's doing more harm than good. You know, I said earlier that leadership starts with our own self. You see, in my own leadership experience, making a decision, I do not make decisions on my own alone. I make decisions with others. I mean, she can testify. She was our financial secretary when I was president then. We make decisions together. So when you involve people in decision making, it's very difficult for you to say you are making an unpopular decision because everybody make that decision together. And we can even bring that down to our own personal self. Let's say making a decision about your own life. I don't know about you, but I see my own life as not my own. As I am not the sole owner of this my life. My dad is a stakeholder in my life. My mom is a stakeholder in my life. My siblings are stakeholders in my life. I mean, every other person I've gotten involved are stakeholders in my life. So making a decision also will involve you about things that are very important to yourself. Will involve you involving all those people that you are leading them together in your own life. So when we put these things together, it's about seeing leadership not as a position first, seeing it as a mindset. You approach everything with a leadership mindset, which involves taking responsibility, having vision, like I said. Being a visionary is not just limited to people in positions, it's for all of us, and having critical skills when it comes to decision making about even our own lives and even situations that we are given to lead.
Thank you so much. This was very packed. Thank you, our speakers. Thank you for coming. Thank you for pouring into us. Thank you for demystifying what leadership means.